Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for 6 things we learnt from Chelsea 1, Newcastle 1 in a pre-season game that brings us back to some kind of like middle ground in terms of happiness levels, but against probably the best opposition that Chelsea will face in this pre-season. A good Chelsea performance. I think we dominated large swathes of the game, and overall I think we can be very happy. Chelsea get the draw. Brilliant chance right at the end of the game with Ben Chilwell forcing an incredible save from Nick Pope. But overall, there's a positive edge to this video today. Normally a 1-1 is a bit like it's dead. Like it's a bit of a muchness is the phrase of the month of July. But in this one, I think there's definitely a lot more positives to talk about as opposed to the negatives. I think isolated moments were the reasons why Chelsea didn't win this game. Before we do get into any more discussions of the match, this is the final chance to join the Telegram to win the 2 tickets to Chelsea versus Liverpool worth £2,000. Follow the top link in the description. Chelsea started the game very well. I absolutely love, and again, if someone would say to you at the beginning of this pre-season that Ian Maatsen as a forward would impress more than Raheem Sterling as a forward at Chelsea, I think a lot of people would have been confused. Ian Maatsen started on the right-hand side, showing once again the versatility that he has. You've got Nicolas Jackson up front, which, by the way, I absolutely adore this man. I don't know if I've told you guys enough in the past week or so. He's brilliant. You've got Christopher Nkunku playing as a number 10, Mudryk on the left, with Enzo and Cassidy kind of playing as a 2. Ian Maatsen, when Chelsea are in possession and we're looking to build attacks, is coming central. A lot of the focus was to try and get Mudryk that ball. I think Nkunku's movement was also good. Nicolas Jackson, even in the first 90 seconds of the game, showing his work rate, getting back, making slide tackles, winning the ball. I wanted to see Jackson stay on. I think he's just one of those players who is not only incredibly likeable in the sense of you want him to do well, but he brings so much to this team. And I genuinely think this kind of signing for Chelsea could have gone under the radar when it happened. But the more I see of him, it's now 2 goals and 3 assists in his first 3 Chelsea appearances. And we're only talking about half-game cameos. I think he's absolutely magnificent. Chelsea in the first half, shape-wise, we looked a lot more threatening. Mudryk getting a couple of shots away, was very close with his right foot. And last season, Mudryk wouldn't even have taken that shot on. I think he's a confidence player, and the more we see of him, the more we understand that scoring goals, playing around players that he has a connection with, is how Chelsea get the best out of Miguel Almiron. It was a good performance from him, comes off at half-time, and then in the second half, I feel as though we lost a bit of that potency. I think a lot of the urgency to make runs, to press, kind of died when Raheem Sterling came on, who looked as though he was a passenger in the majority of the game. Good little touches sometimes when he got the ball, but Chelsea just weren't swarming that Newcastle defence. I get it, there's a lot of elements of it's pre-season. We're focusing on fitness, but there was a clear difference in the first half with the excitement when we went forward, and then the second half. I want to say credit to Nick Pope, who made a few good saves throughout the game. And overall, before we get into the boxes here of 6 things we learned, Chelsea probably deserved to win, in my opinion, based on the balance of the game overall, but it's a 1-1 draw. But we begin with box number 1. It's a green box for Nicolas Jackson. I adore the bloke, I love the bloke. There are not enough superlatives to describe how he is getting in my brain in the early pre-seasons. I was a bit worried. I thought it could have been one of those signings that Chelsea make for the future. We're going to be looking at Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe, Victor Osimhen. Was that the name of striker that we wanted and needed? I think Nicolas Jackson, after the 3 games that we've seen, especially now we're seeing Brighton, Newcastle, good solid Premier League sides that Chelsea are playing against, he's causing problems for everyone he's playing up against. And I think the most interesting thing about Jackson is he does so much, but yet his finishing is fantastic. The way he holds that run, the goal that he scores, by the way, is absolutely magnificent. Humphreys gives it to Cassidy. Cassidy is in there, and I can't remember who it is who played the final ball now. Ian Maatsen in that central area, coming in from the right touchline to the middle. Maatsen plays it through. Jackson holds his run. By the way, how good is it to see a Chelsea striker not offside 75% of the time? If that was Kai Havertz, he's offside 4 or 5 times. Chelsea don't even get a genuine shot on goal. Jackson holds his run, burns past the defender, and the composure behind the finish is exceptional. We were spending a lot of time when we first signed Jackson talking about the fact he scored 9 in his last 8 games for Villarreal at the end of the La Liga season. The cat is having an absolute Barney. Shut your mouth, mate. We don't need it. We're talking about Nicolas Jackson. Just get out. He was fantastic. And I think Chelsea really have a serious player on our hands. We move into box number 2. And I never thought I'd say this, and hit the like button on this video if you're the same as me. I didn't think I'd ever say in my life that I'm in love with a man called Ian. But I just so happen to be in love with a man called Ian. And he goes by the full name of Ian Maatsen. Brilliant player for Burnley in the Championship. Now, Mauricio Pochettino, the majestic manager, the Argentine, has given him a call and he's like, look, Ian, I've got a spot for you anywhere you fancy. Play left back, play left wing back, play left midfield, play left wing. You can even go on the right, mate. And Ian Maatsen gets the assist for Chelsea's goal. He's involved in everything good. There's also moments where he's really playing like a proper right winger. He's the furthest forward on the right-hand side. He gets the ball, the composure, the vision to find Mudryk on the edge of the area. It's effortless from Ian Maatsen. I really think there's no way, after the 3 performances we've seen, that Chelsea and Pochettino can even be considering selling him, and even a loan move at this point is off the agenda for me, because we're going to talk about Sterling a little bit in a moment, but I genuinely have seen more from Ian Maatsen as a winger than I've seen from Sterling across the majority of his Chelsea career. Not just, I know this is obviously pre-season, it is okay to judge because that's what we do here on this channel. We talk about things in live real time. This is the reactionary series from the game. I'm very excited about Ian Maatsen. We move into box number 3 to end the first half the way we did. First of all, where did the referee pluck 5 minutes from? How is there 5 minutes of added time to allow Marc Cucurella to make such a simple yet so important defensive error? It's a red for Marc Cucurella. I was making my notes, as I always do during Chelsea games, and thinking, well, he's defending relatively well until it matters most. What is he doing? He half commits to going towards the ball, then he kind of like freaks out a little bit, sees a wasp or a hornet landing in his dodgy barnet, and then he just loses everything. Almiron goes past him and slots it past Kepa, who maybe could have done a bit better, but it's a good finish nonetheless from Cucurella's individual error. Marc Cucurella is the 4th best left-sided player at Chelsea. Chilwell's better, Maatsen's better, Lewis Hall is better. We've spent 60 million on a 4th choice left back. That is my opinion. Chelsea don't win today because of Cucurella's error. And I've got to pinpoint that here on 6 Things We Learned. Cucurella is a red, followed by a green, for a player who will probably go under the radar during this pre-season. Bashir Humphreys, very solid in centre-back once again. I thought he played well. I think he was playing alongside Trev, who is probably one of those centre-backs who comes into the Chelsea team to play alongside a more dominant, controlling defender. But I think within this combination, Chalobah played well, Humphreys played very well. And I think as much as I don't see him having a place in the squad this season to actually get many minutes in a Chelsea shirt, Bashir Humphreys, I think what we're seeing is a very competent defender for the future who Chelsea, we're talking a lot at the moment about where to prioritise spending big money. For the future, Humphreys has got a part to play. He did very well indeed. Box number 5 is a yellow for Raheem Sterling. This cat, by the way, is having an absolute Barney outside. His mouth is open, constantly making a noise. I don't know how it's possible, although I can do it when I'm talking. It's a yellow for Raheem Sterling. When Sterling came on, immediately Chelsea looked as though we were less threatening because he doesn't make the same runs as Mudryk makes. He doesn't make that burst in pace and effort to get on the ball. And I think overall, Chelsea look to use that left-hand side even less. Cucurella and Sterling in 2023 at Chelsea Football Club is not the left side of the pitch that we want to see. And I've given him a yellow because there were some good moments on the ball, but overall, I just don't think Raheem Sterling is it. I think we've seen the best days of his playing career. And I know, again, it's fitness. That's the important bit. It's pre-season. Does it really matter? Is it a good enough gauge of a player's ability? My concern is, I don't know if Raheem Sterling is going to be good enough at Chelsea Football Club. Overall, in that City team, they're so good. They have such a definitive attacking structure that, of course, he got goals and assists, but he also missed so many chances. And it's the final product that just doesn't exist with Raheem Sterling. We haven't seen it enough in a Chelsea shirt. Box number 6, we finish with a man who's been in the headlines all week for Chelsea here. Conor Gallagher is a green. He looks like such a better player than what we saw under managers who didn't have any definitive roles for him. He looks strong, he's winning the ball back, he's keeping it clean. He had a massive shot that almost went out the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Also forced a good save out of Nick Pope. Conor is looking good. He's everywhere again. And as much as he's been in the headlines because we were talking yesterday, Poch wants to keep him, Chelsea want to sell him. That's why there was such a negative twang to my video yesterday. A lot of you called me out on the title. Different perceptions can be seen in different ways, but yeah, I get it, I changed the title. Conor is one of those players who, unless Chelsea bring in numerous names, I think he's got to stay. He can be utilised in different roles, and he's looking better, fitter, bigger, stronger. And I think that is why Poch is still using him. If Chelsea deem him surplus to requirements, there's offers coming in from West Ham, big offers. I think there's still a reason why Poch is giving him 45 minutes every friendly. Chelsea draw 1-1, not a bad game of football, not a bad result, probably the toughest team we'll face. We're still unbeaten, we're solid defensively, and we're getting minutes to different players all over the field. If you did enjoy the 6 things we learned, please hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, turn on bell notifications, there'll be more videos coming your way later on today. Come on you Blues.